Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Can anybody hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? Hello. Oh man, that was not good. Can people hear me now? Okay, it's good. It's good. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, guys, what I was trying to say was that this is the Daily Vlog Live. What is up, everybody? It is episode 180 of the show. Of course, this is the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. My name is Anthony. I am the host of the show. Of course, the chat is really the featured guest, and it's all about chat here. Although I gotta tell you guys, today I've got a lot of stuff to get into, so the chat might not be involved as they normally are, unfortunately, because I got a lot of stuff I got to get through today. There's just a lot of stuff that is going on, a lot of interesting things to get to. But you know what? Let's go ahead and start it off with a little announcement about this show. So here's the deal, folks. I have to go on hiatus with this show for about 1 week. So there will be no episode on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or anything like that. This show is going to go on hiatus for about 1 week. I've got a lot of things that I've got to work on, and doing this show at the same time, it's better for me if I just set it off to the side. I'll be back in about a week. Everything will be good. The Daily Vlog Live will be back to normal at 11 a.m. Pacific time, but no shows for 1 week, which, you know, that wouldn't be a big deal with a lot of shows, but when you do a daily show and you create this daily routine, we've done a show every single day, I believe, since I first started. I don't think we've not done a show. So we've done a ton of shows here, but I got to take a bit of a break. I got some things to get handled, some things to deal with, some work-related kind of situations. Just is going to be very busy. So will not be able to do the show for about a week. And I'll probably say that again at the very end of the show, just so I don't forget. Okay, so you know what? Tons of news today. I mean, big news. We got release dates. We've got a lot of things going on. And so why don't we go ahead and start it off? Let's see, what is probably the biggest story of the day? And that's the biggest story right there. The biggest story of the day is PlayStation VR has hit 3 million sold. And this is an important thing. You know, this is a big deal here because we need a mass market item in the VR game. I mean, we absolutely need a mass market product. And 3 million, you know, that is heading towards mass market. We always ask ourselves this question: why do all these games come to PlayStation VR before anywhere else? You know, maybe a 30-day exclusive, maybe a 45-day exclusive. Why does this always happen? A big part of the reason is they've got the most headsets out there, man. So if you bring your game to PlayStation VR, if you only grab 10% of the entire audience of PlayStation VR, you're doing a damn good job, you know? And so PSVR, there's a lot of headsets out there. Developers have an opportunity to make some serious money if they have one game that really explodes. I mean, look at this little $3 million picture here and think about Beat Saber, because I honestly believe that Beat Saber can grab 10% of that 3 million audience, and that is incredible sales. That is incredible revenue. That is going to be super awesome for anybody that brings their game to PSVR. So some of you guys are maybe exclusively Oculus Rift players, HTC Vive players, Windows mixed reality players, and you don't really care about PSVR. But PSVR is a factor. They are a threat. They are in this game, and PC VR players should actually like PlayStation VR, root for PlayStation VR, because rising tides lifts all boats. Rising tides lifts all boats, straight up. And, you know, speaking of PlayStation VR news, we actually have some release dates to talk about. Yeah, there's major news in the release date area. Creed Rise to Glory is coming on September 25th. It has been confirmed. Let's go ahead and check the trailer for a sec here.
Creed scores a quick hit, but those love taps aren't knocking anyone out.
Sorry about that. Had to clear my throat. Had to get a sip of water. And Paradise Decay says he loves that saying. Yeah, rising tides lifts all boats. I believe it was Shuhei Yoshida has talked about this a number of times, saying that they're rooting for everybody that's in the VR game. They're rooting for Oculus Rift. They're rooting for HTC Vive. They're rooting for, of course, themselves with PlayStation VR because it's an ecosystem. And if one company is able to make this a mainstream platform, everybody else is going to benefit. Trickle down economics, Reaganomics. SAMIK81 says, Creed is a must buy for me. It is coming to PC VR. Absolutely. It is absolutely coming to PC VR. This is Survios's fourth VR game. They started off with raw data. Then they gave us Sprint Vector earlier this year. Just like a week ago, we got Electronauts, this really cool DJ music game that honestly wasn't something I was looking for, but it's very fun. It's very enjoyable. Incredible party game for VR. And now they're going to have this game, Creed Rise to Glory, September 25th. It is $29.99 on PlayStation VR. When is it going to come to the Rift? When is it going to come to the Vive? My guesstimate would be it's a 30 to 45 day exclusive. So this will arrive just in time for the movie. Creed, the movie, launches, I believe, November 21st. So this game will probably hit PC VR shortly before that. So I would say anything between, say, Halloween and the arrival of the movie on November 21st. Crunchy says, I like the look of Creed, reminds me of Punch-Out. Absolutely, it does very much look like, it's kind of a mixture between, say, Knockout Kings and Thrill of the Fight. Like, Thrill of the Fight is a more serious boxing game, and Knockout Kings, or wait, is it Knockout League? Knockout League, right? Knockout League is more of an arcade, Punch-Out style game. And this kind of looks to be like in a happy medium between the two, but maybe more arcade-like. It definitely looks more arcade-like. Incredibly colorful graphics. And the one really cool thing about Creed Rise to Glory, like this is the best thing about it, is this has been at so many different trade shows, and average gaming journalists that probably are not sports fans, they're probably not even boxing fans, they've had a demo of Creed Rise to Glory, and they've come away impressed as hell. So that is a beautiful thing. So that is coming. So probably early November, I would say, for Rift and Vive. So don't worry about that. Price is probably going to be $29.99 across the board. Okay, so we've got some more dates to get into. Speaking of PlayStation VR, speaking of 3 million PlayStation VR sold, we also have the news that Evasion is coming to PlayStation VR on October 9th. October 9th, Evasion is hitting PlayStation VR. This is going to support the AIM controller. We got a lot of games that are all arriving within a very short period of time that all feature the AIM controller in a very major way. Obviously, Firewall 0 Hour is going to feature the AIM controller. This game, Evasion, on October 9th, features the AIM controller. And then we have Unearthing Mars 2. We take blah, 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 blah. We took a look at that trailer yesterday. That is arriving November 25th. So 3 big games all using this AIM controller. Is this controller Sony's answer to the fact that they don't have thumbsticks on the Move controllers? Because with this controller, it does have a little thumbstick. So you can move yourself around and you can use it as a gun. And 99% of all VR games have a gun, right? So it works out pretty good. So yeah, Evasion is coming on the 9th. I don't believe we got a date for this, but if you guys, a price. I don't believe we have a price for Evasion. Could be in the $29.90-ish range. The $30 range. Looks kind of Halo-ish. I kind of like it. I like the shield. I like the graphics. Looks pretty sweet. So we do have that news as well. Okay, let's see. Again, we've got a lot of stuff to get into today. Okay, I need to take a sip of water and clear my throat real quick. But one trailer I did want to check out, Twilight Path. This brand new trailer just came out like 2 days ago, and I was not up on it. This is Charm Games, developer of Form. Let's check this out. This is Twilight Path, brand new trailer. So that is Twilight Path. It is coming in 2018. Now it does say coming soon. I remember when we first saw this game, they were saying summer of 2018, and we're in summer right now. That this is the creators of Form. This is Charm Games. Almost everybody that played Form loved it, but they all said it was ridiculously short. Hybrid Energy, Form is awesome. Chris Cox loved Form. A lot of people really liked Form. This is their follow-up. Hopefully it'll be a longer game, a more involved game. This is definitely a puzzler. We've got a lot of puzzle games in VR because if you look at the genres of VR, there's certain genres that it's like bread and butter. VR is just perfect for a lot of these puzzle games, especially these games that they use the environment and they use that 360-degree presence to really dial you in. This does remind me a little bit of The Gallery, a little bit of Waltz of the Wizard, a little bit in certain parts. It's kind of like Abduction and Talos Principle and Zing the Land Beyond. It kind of reminds me of all these kinds of puzzle games that are in this category. So this is one to not forget about. Twilight Path, this is one of these games that maybe we don't remember so much, but it is one of the big ones that is coming in the near term. Okay, let's see. What else do we need to mention real quick? Well, obviously, we need to give a quick shout out to Echo Combat because the brand new beta begins today. So here's your opportunity. If you've been jonesing for some more Echo Combat, you can get in there Thursday night, today, Friday, Saturday, and I'm not sure if it ends at some point on Sunday, but we do have the brand new beta for Echo Combat. So there is that. Definitely check that out. Let's see. A lot of little things that we have to mention here. I never did my intro. Let me go ahead and do my intro. This is a really late intro. But yeah, VR Game Rankings is the channel. The Daily Vlog Live, episode 180, Thursday, August 16th. Okay, I did it. I had to get that in there. All right, so let's see. What else did we want to get into? Well, I know something that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the fact that I went ahead and I got my brand new little Oculus Go. Yeah, look at how tiny this little box is. This thing is hecka tiny. Like, I'm surprised by how little this baby is. When the box came, the UPS guy came, it was in a very small package, and I was like, wow, that's the Oculus Go? They really packed that thing in there. But yeah, it is in the building. I did get the 32 gigabyte $199 version. I just got the, the basic version. I think it's fine for right now. And thought about getting the business version, which costs another $100. You double up your memory. But I feel like, I'll just take that $100, put it in an envelope, and I can buy another one of these with another $100, brand new. Why not do that? And so I have played the Oculus Go. I played it yesterday. This game right here is Ken. This is one of my very first experiences on the Oculus Go. And I was able to pair my Xbox controller up to my Oculus Go, and I was playing this game Ken. And you know what's amazing about this is, honestly, the difference between this game on the Rift and on the Go is minimal at best. I really feel like about 85% of the experience comes through with this game. And I played it for a while on my Oculus Rift. I was into Ken. I played this for like a number of days. I was getting to all these different levels, battling all these different bosses. The visuals, I love the visual aesthetic of it. It is incredibly colorful. It kind of has that old school platforming, overhead platforming flavor. You also have really cool music, great use of color. This is by House of Secrets. These are the guys that did that Surge music video, and this is kind of like the first game out of them. And I think this works absolutely brilliantly on the Oculus Go. I feel like I'm playing nearly the same game. So that is super awesome. I really feel good about that. That was the first game that I tried. And I'll go ahead and pop on the next game that I tried. The next game I tried is Blaze Rush. And this video here is somebody actually got like the Oculus Go version. And that's the video that we're getting here with this strange format here. But I think it probably is, there's no sound unfortunately, but I think it probably is a better representation of what you're actually getting on the Oculus Go. And Blaze Rush, this is another game that kind of blew me away because honestly, again, I feel like it's probably 85% of the experience of playing the Rift version. Again, I had my paired Xbox One controller and was playing this. I've always said that Blaze Rush is it's kind of like rock and roll racing on the Super Nintendo or Super Off-Road, or, kind of harkens back to those days. The controls are a little bit weird to get used to. If you see that little red arrow there, you basically really have to pay attention to where the red arrow is pointing, and that's how you steer your vehicle. It's a little bit of combat. You get machine guns and stuff like that, but it's more, you're not really trying to blow up the other guys. You're just trying to kind of throw them off pace. Blaze Rush, really cool. So let me go ahead and check on chat what people are saying over here. So Chebby says $50 more for 64 gigs. I Am Rut says 64 gigs is nothing. I mean, hey, it's double. 64 gigs is something. It is double. And you might be able to connect like a USB stick at some point to this thing somehow, some way, and add additional storage, but it might be kind of janky. But I figure I'll just like erase things and just concentrate on certain things that fit into the 32 gig space. Paradise Decay says, Anthony, you need to check out all the Face Your Fears on the Go. I've heard that is really good. Absolutely. I'm going to be checking out all kinds of stuff like that. Chris Cox says, only problem with Ken was how far away you were from the character. You could lean in on the Rift, which solved that issue. Yeah, I do kind of feel like there should be a slight zoom ability on Ken for the Go. Like if you could zoom in a little bit, because you do have that fixed perspective, and that fixed perspective, sometimes she is very far away and you're like, where's my character? You're like looking all around like, oh, there she is. She's way over there on that third island, that little 1 centimeter tall thing over there. Yeah, she is very, very far away. Paul Bellino, Blade Rush is a way underrated game. One of my faves. Yeah, well, imagine having the ability to play it anywhere very quickly with the Oculus Go. That's the thing about the Oculus Go. Like the number one thing that I would say about the Oculus Go is it's the 3DS for the VR generation. At least for this early VR generation, it's the 3DS. So if you were a regular pancake gamer and you had a 3DS, you would play it in certain situations when you couldn't play your console games, or you just wanted to kick back on the sofa or something, or you're laying in bed or whatever. These are the reasons we use a 3DS. Or you're going on vacation, or you have a long commute, you're on a train or something. That's when you would use a 3DS. And I feel like the Oculus Go is a really good 3DS device for the VR generation at $200. You know, it was $200 and basically $19 with tax. $219, and you walk away with this headset. I have it right here. So yeah, you know, $219, and you get this headset. You know, it's very basic. It doesn't have a lot of like amazing design to it. I know I'm like 4 months late to the party or whatever from all the launch stuff. And right here on the side, you know, your headphone goes there. The little USB connector is there. And sometimes my headphone jack's sticking out like that. I wonder, has somebody come up with some kind of ingenious way to connect the headphone and have it kind of more hidden somehow, just from the looks of it. But, you know, the built-in sound is not bad either. Now, do I have some problems with this thing? I do. One of my problems with it is you see it like this, it's really open and exposed. I think the lenses are just natural. Like if you just have this sitting on your carpet or something, it's like really exposed here. And on the very first day I had this thing, I almost had it in the sunlight, and I was like, oh my God, I almost ruined my Oculus Go on the very first day because I had it just sitting in this little spot on the ground. There was no sun anywhere to be found, but I came back 2 years. I came back 2 hours later, and there was sun in the area, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't kill my Oculus Go, did I? But no, it's okay. I didn't get any sun on it, thank God. But you could get sun on this thing. The other negative thing I have to say about the Go is my single biggest issue with this thing is it seems like it's kind of like squeezing in on my face a little bit. I feel like maybe what they need to have for the Oculus Go is 2 different versions, similar to Magic Leap. You have your standard Oculus Go, and you have the Oculus Go Tony Robbins edition, or Mark Cuban, or O.J. Simpson. You know, so you have your jumbo version, and you have your normal version. And then I feel like it wouldn't be squeezing me so much. And I also know, you know, the IPD is basically fixed, right? And it's kind of squeezing in on me. So I kind of feel like I need like a jumbo version of the Oculus Go. I need the extra large, but for the most part, it does the job. It is a Nintendo 3DS replacement for the VR crowd, in my opinion. I'm going to go ahead and put the next thing I experienced on here, and then I'll go ahead and check chat. Excuse me. Sorry, my throat is bothersome today. So there's our boy, Paradise Decay. Let's see here. Wait a minute. I think I grabbed the wrong one, though, because I had one that I edited down a little bit more. Is that it? Thought I had it like... Well, anyway. Okay, so yeah, this is Paradise Decay's video here where he's talking about the difference between Henry on the Oculus Go, and he's got some good footage here, and I thought I would go ahead and mention that as well. But let me go ahead and check into chat over here. Paradise says, I only have 22 gigs free. Oops, that got cut off. Let me grab my pop-out chat where I can go back to the future. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so Paradise was talking about only having 22 gigs. Okay, so Paradise Decay says, I only have 22 gigs free. 10 gigs is Ready Player One in 3D. Yeah, of course. Blaze Rush is a way underrated game. I think we got that. Face Your Fears live stream. Yeah, I haven't done any live stream gameplay yet at all. 90-degree headphone connector, 1.8 extension. Yeah, I probably want to get one of those. Lethal Weasel says, you now have a moral obligation to go forth into the world and recruit flat gamers. Yeah, I'll put this thing on. Like if I was on an airplane or something, I'd put my Go on. I ain't got a problem with that. Crunchy says, O.J. Simpson edition. If the Go doesn't fit, you must acquit. Pretty much. That's actually a really good comment there, Crunchy. That's really good. Ray Delatorre, how do you feel about the 60 frame rate? And Gerard is in the building live. And so, yeah. So, you know, I do have a couple of things to say like about the visual quality, and actually I can kind of speak to the frame rate in regards to like this Henry video right here. So I always heard people say that this Henry video is really impressive on the Oculus Go. You can't move around with your head, you can't walk around in room scale or anything like that. You know, you got that fixed position, but it does have this like 5K pseudo version, like super sampling and all that, right? That John Carmack did. And I gotta say, early on, when I was experiencing this Henry, I noticed a weird like flicker. There was like this weird flicker that was going on in my peripheral vision during certain parts of this Henry thing. I don't know, is that the 60 frames thing? But something felt weird to me. It was like flickering, or something felt weird in a couple of segments of this Henry 5K. But then it went away and it was perfectly fine in other segments. And I kind of feel like it's a mixed bag. Like I was looking at Henry in the Oculus Go, and maybe my expectations were raised too high because a lot of people raved about this on the Go. And then people also raved about John Carmack making that modification to it so it like super samples it and looks a lot better. And so maybe my expectations were a little bit too high because there were certain parts that I didn't think was all that good of this Henry thing. But then there were other parts where it was crystal clear and it was absolutely gorgeous, especially when, you know, the balloon animal guys are all kind of dancing around you. And when you look at that balloon material, it looks crystal clear. It looks incredibly colorful, looks super beautiful, certain segments of Henry. So it is impressive overall, but maybe my expectations were a little bit high on that. Okay, let's see. What are we looking at here? I'm looking at everybody in chat. Oh, Paradise is saying you have to be careful of sun reflections as well. ZimTalk 5 killed his Go outside from a reflection from the sun off another object. Yeah, it is very, like, it's open. It's really open, which is a little bit unfortunate. There is, you know, I wonder in the future, maybe they could design VR headsets where there's a button that you hit and then it opens up. So your lenses are covered when not in use or something. I don't know. But yeah, it does seem like it might be easier to damage that thing with sun, especially because you're taking it everywhere. You're setting it down in different places. With a Vive or a Rift or Windows Mixed Reality, you're probably going to be in one room for the most part, and you pretty much set it down in the same place every single time, and you know not to get it anywhere near sun. This is a little bit different. Fluke says, Henry is the only thing I noticed the 60 hertz flicker. Yeah, I noticed it during some of the sunlight. It was like some of the sunlight coming in. I noticed that flicker. But this part right here, where these guys are dancing around, these little balloon guys, oh man, that looked crystal clear. That looked perfectly sharp. That looked really good. that was very impressive. Um, the nighttime part, or when it was dark, like when they turned the lights out, like that part I didn't think was quite as impressive either, but this part was pretty good. Ray Delatorre says, I heard there is a cool cover for the Rift lens. I'll have to look into that, absolutely. And we did have somebody, Chris Gould says he wants to give a shout out for Relic Seeker, one of the best games on the go. No one talks about it. Yeah, you want to talk about hidden gems and games that are flying below the radar. There is a lot of stuff that is definitely flying below the radar. Oh, here's a great question. Really good question from VR fan Snakebert. He said, if you had finite funds, and I do have finite funds, would you recommend a Go or PSVR? Okay, do you already have a PlayStation 4? So it's basically just a $200 question, because you can find PSVR, the base bundles for like $199 if you've already got a camera, you've already got a PS4. If it's straight up dollars to dollars, I mean, PSVR is a legit VR platform that has incredible exclusives that you really got to have. So I think I would go PSVR. But what the Go is the 3DS. So if you're always on trains, if you're always on buses, if you're always, well, I wouldn't do it in just an Uber ride or something. But if you have to, and it is a thing, though. It is a thing. Would you be on a bus by yourself with a Go on? Would you be on a train by yourself with a Go on? Because you kind of have to trust people around you. You got to have to trust that really what it is it's not so much that I would be concerned what other people think about me if I had my Go on in a public place, but I would be concerned about like some asshole person coming up to you and like hitting it or saying, doing some dumb thing because they see you with the Go on. They realize that you do not have awareness of what's going on around you. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a slight concern. I don't know. I still think I'm going to try to use this in public every once in a while. And then Homicidal Turkey does say the view moves when the car bus turns. Yeah, I've heard kind of mixed reviews. Some people have taken the Go on a plane, and they said that, when the plane is kind of banking or something, there might be a problem there. VR fan Snakebert says Wipeout and Resident Evil Envy are driving me towards PSVR. Dude, you don't know the half of it. Wipeout, Bound, PlayStation VR Worlds, Static, Resident Evil 7. PSVR has some serious heat, like legitimately. Games that have never made it to PlayStation VR, never made it to PC VR, and you are really missing out on some incredible bangers if you don't grab some of those games. Okay, what else did I try on this thing? I tried this game called Anshar Onlines. Let's go ahead and watch this trailer for a second. I'm going to get a sip of water. Okay, so I did try this game, Anshar Online, I believe it's called. I didn't see all these other levels that you're seeing way later in the game. I was basically early on in kind of like the city level of the game. And the one thing I'll say about this is the graphics are really, really good on this. Like, I think this game, of the games that I've tried so far, because I tried Ken, I tried Blaze Rush, I tried Henry, honestly, this might be the best graphics that I've seen in the Rift at this early stage. Graphically looks really freaking good right here, this area here. But the gameplay, I just didn't get into the gameplay with this game. But, I'll give it some more of a try. But I didn't try the cockpit mode. I had the ship out in front of me. So I'll give this more of a try. But visually, it is impressive. This is a very impressive game visually. So I did try that. Another experience that I tried is 0 Days VR. So 0 Days VR, I am a massive fan of this thing. I think this is really cool. I think this is the kind of thing, like if you have like somebody that's 55 or 60 and they don't know anything about VR, you could put this into them, or somebody in their 40s that isn't a gamer at all, they know nothing about VR, put them into this and tell them just watch this for about 10-15 minutes and they will really get fixated. I mean, this is a really well done documentary, and I tried this on the go and it was playing for a while and then it stopped, and then it started to play again, and then it had some problems, so it kind of screwed up. So I don't know, is it just a little like short demo that you get here on the go and you have to buy the rest of it? Because it said like free when I tried to download it. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure exactly what the deal is with 0 Days VR on the Oculus Go. Do you have to buy it to get the full version? Because I only sampled a little bit of it. It did seem downgraded from the Rift version, like it wasn't as impressive to me, but it still looked pretty freaking cool. And it's still like, this is the type of thing I would want my mom to check out. Like I'd be like, Mom, check this out. It's kind of a documentary. It'll kind of walk you through. All you got to do is just sit down in a chair and you can just look around and just relax. And it's a really cool visual display of them kind of breaking down the Stuxnet code, or this little hack that was done. So pretty cool, but I did like it. Okay, let's see what people are talking about in chat. Did you try the 72 frames? Okay, what game runs at 72 frames? I'm not sure. Like, did Anshar Online run at 72 frames? I don't know. So I don't know if I've tried the 72 frames mode. I imagine it just automatically pops up, right? Lethal Weasel. Okay, they're talking about PSVR, and he's saying at Jim Hall, the Pro is nice and does make a difference, but the OG works just fine. Yeah, I have a PS4 Pro, and it's like minor super sampling is pretty much what it would be. Would be fun to draw on faces and throw things in MR like at the DMV. Gopher Chucks is talking about mixed reality. Yeah, so, Titanic VR was released out of early access today. Yeah, that did happen. A lot of Go experiences feel watered down in the graphics department when compared to the Rift, but gameplay is almost similar. Yeah, I mean, well, if you think about the Nintendo 3DS, you're not getting a console experience on the Nintendo 3DS, but you could still have a freaking blast with it. And that's kind of what I think about the Oculus Go as well. It's kind of like that. So I did try 0 Days VR. I tried that. I thought it was pretty good, but it had some issues. Okay, so this is the best thing. This is the best thing that I tried on the Oculus Go. I tried like a total of 7 different experiences. And let me tell you, in space, this was like I was playing PSVR. I mean, literally, this was crystal clear. Orange Bridge Studios, they knocked it out of the park. This is a prime time game on the Oculus Go. I think this is an absolute must-have on the Oculus Go because realistically, there was no difference between this and the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation VR version. In fact, I might even say this looked better than the PlayStation VR version because in space on PSVR, it does have a bit of that Vaseline smear. And this looked even better. So of everything I tried so far on the Oculus Go, it's not even a question. In space is the most impressive thing I've seen. It's almost like you have a little Eve Valkyrie game that you can take with you anywhere. How cool is that for 199 bones, $219 with tax? You get this game as well, and you've got a portable version of some Eve Valkyrie like multiplayer in space, which I think they did a damn good job. Orange Bridge Studios, much love, much credit, great job there. I'm going to be playing a lot more of that on my Oculus Go because that is like a console level experience. Let's see. They're talking a lot about Wipeout XL. Hybrid Energy says Wipeout XL is still the best Wipeout ever made. Fight me. Yeah, I don't know. Wipeout XL was cool. I kind of like Wipeout HD. My stomach is making noises, folks. I didn't eat much of a breakfast at all, and my stomach is making crazy noises. What did you think of the Oculus Go controller? Well, I immediately paired an Xbox One controller to my Oculus Go, and I believe that I was mostly using my Xbox One controller, so I didn't use the Oculus Go controller quite as much. Does it have any rumble at all? Does the Oculus Go controller have any rumble whatsoever? Because I believe it needs to have some more rumble, if it has any rumble at all, or it needs to have some actual rumble. But the controller, you know, it serves its function. It does what it does. You can navigate through the menus and you can select things, and it has that touchpad, which you can kind of like, different sections of the touchpad become buttons. It's all so early, man. I've barely played this thing. I've played my Oculus Go for a handful of hours, and so it's going to be a while. It's going to take me some time to have some more impressions on this. Vendetta is a much deeper space game on the go. Have you tried In Space? How do you control In Space on the go? Well, you can actually play this game just fine with the freaking single controller. You just kind of, because it's head selection. You know, you're using head selection and you're firing with your gun and stuff. So you actually can just use the hand controller. It's pretty cool. At VR Game Rankings, this is Paradise Decay. He's saying, have you not tried Coaster Combat? My favorite Go game at the moment. No. I've always avoided roller coaster kind of games. I'm assuming that's a roller coaster type game. I've always avoided them on any VR platform because I feel like sitting still and experiencing a roller coaster is a bad idea. I feel like that's a recipe for what do you call it? You know, it's a recipe for motion sickness. Like, you're sitting still and you're not doing nothing. I think it's a bad idea. Okay, guys, here's what I'm going to have to do real quick. I'm going to throw on this Spy Who Shrunk Me trailer, put on some sound, and I am going to grab a banana and just take a couple bites of it because my stomach is just killing me. I'll be back in 1 sec. I'll be back in 1 sec.
I'm on a mission to Moscow. The plan is to infiltrate a software company and to figure out what they're hiding inside. Little did I know, my problems were about to become larger than expected.
All right, folks, some live banana consumption on the air because my stomach is making crazy noises and I just need to shut the stomach up.
For a woman of my stature.
So my problem there. Sorry about that. This is a live show. This is what happens.
Welcome to the Bow to Blood Arena. 7 other captains have been chosen as well, but only one can be named champion. Let the games begin!
What I do for my country. I had to do it, guys. I had to eat a little something here because I guess I just had way too light of a breakfast. earlier in the day, and my stomach was like, bro, you need to eat. You've got to handle business. So I had to just get something in there that will shut my stomach up, can shut the hell up. I can get back to business here. Okay, so did we have some other news and stuff? Let's see. I was still talking about my Oculus Go, but let me see if we had some other little things I needed to get into. I don't want to forget anything here. Oh, one thing we can talk about real quick is on the PlayStation blog today, where they announced that PlayStation VR has hit 3 million PlayStation VR games, PlayStation VR headsets sold, and then I think like 21 million PSVR games, or something like that. And then the other announcement we did get the date for Creed Rise to Glory, September 25th, and we also got the date for Evasion, which is October 9th. So we have a lot of cool games to look forward to. But the other thing that they had on that Sony blog is they had a list of the 10 most played PSVR games. Of all the PSVR games out there, these are the most played. I'm guessing kind of like worldwide numbers here, and we can talk about this list real quick. Number 1, Skyrim VR. No shocker there, because they're probably looking at hours played. And if you get lost in the world of Skyrim, you're going to get lost, and you're going to be in there for a crazy number of hours. Incredibly popular game. Just the idea, a sword in one hand, a shield in the other, or casting magic, skeletons, being in caves, and just the rain and the trees and all of that. That is Skyrim VR. I played that on PSVR quite a bit when I first got it, and it was magical. You get lost in that world. It is incredible. PlayStation VR Worlds. We were talking earlier about what would a PC VR player be jealous of, and they should be jealous of PlayStation VR Worlds. They really should, because the London heist portion of that game, and even Danger Ball, and even the Shark Cage experience, all of it is really good. Awesome game. Rec Room, there's Against Gravity. They're doing good. RE7. It's kind of funny that RE7 is down at number 4, but it is a horror title. The Playroom VR. Oh my God. Robots Rescue. The Playroom VR. Just absolutely adorable. Incredibly adorable. Job Simulator. Not a shocker that it would be a very well played game. Rush of Blood. It's really nice to see Rush of Blood rank relatively high on this list. Rush of Blood is scary as hell, and a lot of people have to deal with that. Batman Arkham VR. It's an oldie but a goodie. Batman Arkham VR is a very limited game. It's a very limited experience, but it's Batman, and some of the environments are awesome. Farpoint. I have never played Farpoint. Can you believe this, ladies and gentlemen? Never in my life have I played Farpoint. I'm waiting for my aim controller, so I'm waiting for Firewall 0 Hour. I'm going to go ahead and get that bundle with the aim controller, and honestly, I'm more excited to play Farpoint. Like, I would be more excited to play Farpoint that first day than Firewall 0 Hour, but that's why I'm waiting. And number 10, Superhot, and I've played Superhot on PSVR. It's a damn good port. That game works well. Now, you do got to keep your, you got to have your camera mounted in the right area, and you got to keep your hands, like if you're going way over here, you're going to have problems. But Superhot, if you stay within an area, it works pretty damn good. See, that banana worked, man. No more stomach noises. Okay, let's see. King Hell says Skyrim VR is awesome. Stick on the graphical mods. Sends it over the top. Are there any numbers for how many PC VR HMDs have sold? That is crunchy. Unfortunately, no official numbers from Oculus or HTC. Terry Blanchard says, wait till you see reviews of VR with RTX systems. He's talking about the brand new graphics cards. Hilmar says, how is Skyrim VR on PSVR compared to a patched PC-based version? Well, obviously it's better, but it's still very playable, very enjoyable on PSVR. But if you got a Rift or a Vive, you want to play it there, no question whatsoever. Hybrid says, I liked Batman Arkham VR and it was well polished, but I did everything in about 1.5 hours. Yeah, I mean, it was very short. That was actually made, I believe, by Rocksteady. And you got to wonder if some of these primetime developers, if they make a little small VR experience, I wonder if they catch the VR bug, and they want to make a bigger VR game, but maybe financially it's not there for them. Chris Gould says, I still like Riggs. Riggs did not make the list, but yeah, a lot of people, I am Ruts. I didn't care for Rush of Blood. It was okay. But were you too scared, or you just didn't think it was that good? I really liked Rush of Blood. I mean, it's Rush of Blood, you're on this slow-moving roller coaster at like some amusement park from hell, kind of like a twisted amusement park in the middle of freaking snow, and it's winter. You're in an amusement park in the winter with snow everywhere, like an abandoned amusement park with a bunch of psychos. I think Rush of Blood is freaking cool, but I do have to admit, I never actually finished Rush of Blood. How lame is that? I was very far into it. Let's see. So, Hilmar, I am Retz is saying at Hilmar VR, on PS4 is okay, but seriously need to use a gamepad. Controllers are too janky. I think he's talking about Skyrim. My moves worked pretty good, but it does take a while to get used to it. And I did have reflections behind me at one point that made it absolutely awful. Okay, I need to check some news real quick. I got to check something real fast. I will be right back. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying on camera, but I got to check something real quick here. I actually wanted to check one of my private messages to see. Okay, so yeah, I can go ahead and announce this because I want to announce this before this show is over. VR Roundtable is going to have a special live show today at around 2 p.m. Pacific. Now, it might start at 2:05 p.m. or 2:10 p.m. or maybe even 2:15 p.m., maybe 1:55 p.m., somewhere around there. But we are going to do a special live version of VR Roundtable. So basically about 2 hours from now, maybe a little bit over 2 hours from now. So everybody that is watching this right now, make sure to go ahead and check that out in about 2 hours. VR Roundtable special live episode. Okay, let's see here. I'm talking Pacific time, around 2 p.m. Pacific time today. VR Roundtable. Just do a Google search for VR Roundtable YouTube. You'll find the channel, no problem, and we will have a live episode. So definitely check that out later today. Another thing I want to mention before we exit out of here. Again, this show unfortunately is going on hiatus for about a week. My apologies, but I have some very serious things that I need to deal with. Very important things that are going to occupy my time, and I just need to not worry about the show for a week, unfortunately. And it sucks because when you're a daily show, people get used to that daily thing. They want you there every day, 11 a.m. Pacific, and I want to be there every day at 11 a.m. Pacific. But basically, I'm going to be gone for about a week. So, oh well, I will be back in a week. Everything will be good when I get back. Okay, so before I get out of here, I do need to get out of here, actually. But I wanted to take just a quick check to see, is there any late breaking news, any other major stuff that's going on? Upload VR is talking about Mario Kart VR. It's entirely worth the wait. Somebody got to London and tried that out. They're talking about why you won't see our Firewall 0-hour review right at launch. And actually, you know what? I have not read this, but it's basically what they're saying here is developer First Contact Entertainment won't actually be sending out review code until actual launch day. So there will be no review code for Firewall 0 hour until launch day. That's not really that big of a deal. I mean, you're just going to have to wait another day. Evasion's full version launches in October on PSVR, Rift, and Vive. Okay, I didn't actually know this. I was thinking it might be a little delay. I knew it was coming to PlayStation VR on October 9th, but it's also hitting the Rift and Vive too. So good news. PCVR players will not have to wait for Evasion So you're going to get it on the same day. And honestly, I will say this, Evasion looks better than I ever thought it. Like, Evasion is on my radar now, and it really wasn't on my radar that much. And then, of course, obviously the really huge news today, PlayStation VR has hit the 3 million headsets sold mark, which is a good number. You think a number like that might wake Xbox up? You know, do you think a news story like that could possibly wake up Microsoft to think about VR? Who knows? Maybe they will. Okay, I just bounced over to the Vive subreddit, and they're talking about Titanic VR, which I've heard some good things about this. I have not played it yet, but you know what? If you stay tuned in 2 hours, I think Steve has actually played some of this Titanic VR, so he'll probably have his impressions in about 2 hours, so that could be cool to check out. Let's see, anything else? Bandit Point, a Borderlands-inspired VR shooter. I'm a little late in the show to try to grab trailers, so that's some of the news that is going on. Bouncing over to Oculus. Oculus, hey, they're talking about PSVR passing 3 million headsets sold, so there's some love from the Oculus sub. You know, rising tides lifts all boats. I truly believe that. Stormland VR, first playable demos open to public August 31st. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, now this is major freaking news. PAX West 2018 in Seattle, Stormland pop-up. Oh my God. So some people, if you're in Seattle, you may get an opportunity to try Stormland. Insomniac Games, holy smokes. That would be super awesome. Wow, that's big news. Somebody actually could get their hands on Stormland as early as this August. I thought that game was like November 2019 release, and maybe it still is. Viveport VR is opening up subscriptions to Rift users. So Oculus isn't opening up their store to anybody else, but hey, Viveport is like, hey, we're open for business. Come on over, baby. Come on over. So we might talk about that as well on the VR Roundtable episode a little bit later today. I kind of was hammered with Oculus Go announcements. I mean, my playing the Oculus Go, blah, blah, blah. And so quick check over on the PSVR subreddits. They're talking about Megaton Rainfall, the blinders. Everybody is upset about the blinders. They want the opportunity to turn off the motion sickness blinders in relation to Megaton Rainfall. And of course, they're talking about Rise to Glory, September 25th. Creed Rise to Glory, very big release coming over there. And so a lot of people in chat, thank you guys so much for showing up. Again, I will be back in about 1 week, and it will be business like normal. So don't worry, I will be back in 1 week. That will be awesome. And hopefully I'll have a lot of experiences to talk about too in about a week. Let's see here. Let me throw on my little outro trailer, of course. If I could find it. Something's messed up. Oh, wait. 1 sec here. Okay, here's my outro. Alrighty, so yeah, that will go ahead and do it for this episode of the Daily Vlog Live. It was episode 180. It is August 16th, Thursday, August 16th. Remember, in 2 hours, in about 2 hours, we will have a live episode of VR Roundtable. So make sure to bounce over to the VR Roundtable channel. Check us out there in about 2 hours. And I will be back in about a week or so. I will see you guys then. Have a wonderful week. And I'll check you out then. Take it easy. Later.